Hello, I'm Greg Wade. I lead on Innovation and Growth Policy at Universities UK.
And I'm Kevin Richardson, Higher Education Funding Council for England.
Welcome, Kevin. This is another Universities UK Innovation and Growth webcast, and the topic for this one is the European Structural Investment Funds and the low carbon economy. Up to now, a lot of Universities UK's efforts, and a lot of universities' efforts, I'm sure, has been focused on the thematic objectives relating to innovation and higher level skills and SME engagement. But there are 10 thematic objectives, and we just thought we'd take a little time to talk through the one on low carbon economy. Yeah. So, Kevin, just to kick off, can you explain the background to this thematic objective?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand where this came from.
Yeah.
The previous round of structural funds were very much targeted to something what was called the Lisbon Agenda, which was about the most competitive, knowledge-driven economy in the world. It's about technology, business growth, SME development, and at that time, for the right reasons, that was the priority. Yeah. The new rounds of the new policies, the Europe 2020 strategy, which has very much shaped the contents of these new programs, was around this short but important phrase of smart, sustainable and inclusive economies. Yeah. Perhaps a subtle but qualitative different focus for the programs. And clearly these whole issues around climate change, carbon reduction, are seen not just as something that is important for the future sustainability of the planet, but also their opportunity in terms of shaping and informing and supporting new forms of economic growth. Yeah. And that's the reason why we see within the new ESIF programs this new focused concentration on the brand of low carbon economy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Why should universities be interested in this strand of work?
I think that there's two reasons for this particular theme as being important. One is it's one of the few limitations in the programme where there's a requirement for a minimum percentage of the funds to be spent on it.
Okay.
Now that will apply at for the national level and for different classifications of local areas, so I'm not getting into the complications of different types of areas and different percentages, but there is a minimum spend on this.
Okay.
And the money can't be spent on anything else.
Right.
So
it's a restricted pot.
Yeah, exactly. And by that, it recognises its priority status within the programme. But more importantly, this strand of activity includes a range of types of actions, some of which relate to the deployment of new tools and processes out there in the economy. Yeah. But other activities are about the generation of new technologies, about the innovation, the commercialisation of new products and processes which drive the low carbon economy. Yeah. And some people have said to me, well, it reads very similar to some of the activities in the innovation strand. Right. And the answer is yes, and it's deliberately designed to do that. Yeah. And of course, many universities have got teams of people working on identifying new ways of doing things in terms of the environment and how that relates to the economy. Yeah. So it's of strategic interest. And I think thus far in the development of plans for the new ESIF programme, as you rightly said, Greg, we've seen a lot of interest from universities on the kinds of activities which perhaps have been funded in the past. So the research and commercialisation, business growth, business development, and perhaps thus far, perhaps a disappointingly low interest in what is a new type of activity. So I think what we're trying to do today in this short webcast, Greg, is to say, have a look at it. Yeah. Don't think out the box a little bit. Yeah. There are some actions within that strand which aren't for universities, but a number of them are, I think, and they're worthy of perhaps a second look.
Okay.
Not just by those universities which have been particularly active in the past in the structural funds, but those which are new entrants back or coming back, and there might be an area where perhaps they see greater priority than
some of the others.
Some of the other stuff. So don't rule it out.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. So you've sparked the interest of university.
Hopefully.
What should they be doing now?
Well, as we've set out elsewhere, Greg, at this stage, universities will be working with the different partners in the local areas to frame up what are called annual implementation plans, i.e. setting out what it is the local partnership wants to achieve, what types of activities they wish to commission or to invite. And it's important if universities in an area think that low carbon economy is an important part of that strand, then that should be reflected in the annual implementation plan of the types of activities that should be coming forward. And of course, universities have got choices to make in identifying what are their institutional objectives, what is it they're trying to get of the new round of HEFCE programs, and where would a low carbon economy strand fit within that. So, as ever, any institution needs to make priority decisions, and they make them for themselves. I think what we're trying to do is to say part of your decisions at local level should be about where and to what extent should a focus on low carbon economy be part of our overall ask, as it were.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's at that level now what we need to be doing.
Okay. And just finally, if there's nothing else you wanted to sort of update people on in relation to this, where's the best place to find out more information? I
think this one's relatively straightforward. And if we look at the draft ARDF operational programme, if you look at under this thematic objective, text like me call it thematic objective 4, it's a low carbon economy strand. It contains quite an extensive list of the kinds of activities which can be funded. And on this strand of activity, I'm quite confident actually it fits quite closely with what the European Commission would expect to see. I don't think it'll be a controversial part in the negotiations. And I think we're pretty, with a good degree of certainty, what we see now in the operational programme is likely to be the final version when it's formally signed off. So just focus in, look at the actions, and does this fit with what we want to do?
And it's something institutions can get on with.
And it's about, having a second look, thinking a little bit differently perhaps. But then institutions, deciding for themselves where it fits in that overall prioritisation process. The bottom line, though, is a minimum amount of money needs to be spent in this particular package of activity. And universities, if that amount of money is to be spent, will be important in terms of the provision of match funding.
Excellent. Thank you, Kevin.
Short but sweet, I hope.
Indeed. We will include a link to the draft operational programme alongside the broadcast of this webcast on YouTube. Again, thank you very much for very
and thank you, Greg.
Thank you.